Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to my channel. My name is Boston and I am a concert photographer based in Los Angeles, California, and I do videos on concert photography and just kind of general photography stuff. So today's video I'm excited about because this is something that I've been wanting to do for a while and had a few technical difficulties when I was trying to get it started, but we are here and I am going to be editing other concert photographers' images. I am trying to screen record and it is only picking up this screen, so I have to screen record on this guy. So this is the screen that I normally edit on, and this is the screen that I'm going to be editing on today. They are different colors. I love this screen. It is color corrected. This one is not, but we're gonna have to make do with this for today. I also had some technical difficulties with downloading pictures. For some reason, one of my friends that sent me photos, it did not want to read the raw photos. I was able to download one of them as a raw photo and then one of them as a JPEG. So we're gonna try and edit a JPEG and see how I do on that as well. But I have 7 photos from some incredible photographers and I'm just gonna take you guys through how I would edit them. So let's get started with the first one. By the way, I am going to have my other screen up and I'm going to swap between to kind of like color correct because I'm going to need it. I'm kind of picky about my colors and I know that this screen turns a little blue, so I'll probably swap back and forth just to double check. Now that I have everything set up and this is kind of how I'm going to edit, there's a few photos I wanted to kind of tackle first because I think they'll be the easiest to edit, and I'm starting with this one from Andy. Because this is a beautiful shot as is. It doesn't need a hell of a lot of editing, so I'm just gonna go through like what I normally add on to my edits. So normally when I first start, let's minimize this, I add a little bit of contrast, add a little bit of the blacks, a little bit of clarity, vibrance, and a little less saturation. We'll come back to that. I am going to bring up my sharpening because I normally do that. I always do this little detail and masking. Normally bring it almost all the way up because I want to mask everything else out and only sharpen the edges as much as possible. So do that. Let's add a little bit of the luminance. Oh, it looks so pretty. Let's go about there. And then I'm gonna go to the bottom and add a little bit of dehaze. Ooh, that made it really cool. Ooh, okay. That's nice. Okay, so then I'm gonna play with this tone curve a little bit. Do a basic kind of thin S-curve like that. I'm gonna come back and decrease my highlights and bring the whites down just a tiny bit. Might actually bring the exposure down because it's a little overexposed. Normally I like that doesn't look good. Normally I like taking the white balance dropper and just seeing what it recommends for me to have. I like how it's shot, but I do want to add a little bit of warmth to it. I do tend to add a little bit of clarity to all of my photos, which I know a lot of people don't like. Ooh, I like that. Okay, let's definitely have blacks like that. I think that's all I would do. That was a really quick like before and after, but nothing too crazy, just making it a little bit warmer and just adding a little bit more contrast into it. I tend to keep my images like pretty simple on the editing, and this is definitely an image that I would have flagged in kind of like my whole shot set, and I would have edited it this way. Like, I really like those bright, crisp colors. I like normal skin tones. I normally try and bring everything back to regular skin tones. So that's how I'd edit that one. And then what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to take that edit, I'm going to take that, and I'm going to apply it to all of these other ones. And the reason that I'm doing that is not because I think that they're all going to edit the same. Is I kind of go through like my base of what kind of levels I like, and that already has it. So let's go to this next image, which is that JPEG that I was talking about before. Now, hopefully I don't ruin this one and make it gritty, but this is such a great photo. Okay, so with those same settings applied, that photo was a little bit overexposed, so I'm going to bring back up my exposure. I'm going to remove this white because I don't think that there's anything capping out in there. Sharpening, I'm going to keep all the same. Dehaze, this one's a little hazy, so I'm going to bring this one up a little bit higher than I would like to, mostly because I am working with a JPEG, so I'm going to use that because I think that when I saved it, it made this image grainier than it actually was. Like, even looking at the JPEG to the RAW side by side on Dropbox, I was like, wow, okay, this JPEG is not doing me any favors here. But the RAW was really, really beautiful. So this is a photo from my friend John, and his photos are great. This is a great photo. But like I said, I had technical difficulties, so blame that on me. Okay, so I am coming back up. I'm gonna probably increase the clarity a little bit more. And then I'm definitely gonna kick up my shadows. How do I wanna do this? Like, I wanna make it a little bit darker without making it darker on his face. Oop, too much. I love this little lens flare in the side. That's so cool. Okay, let's do that. Let's go back up to, actually I'm gonna change the exposure again. I'm gonna come back and touch his shirt. Yeah, okay, cool. This is what I'm more leaning towards. I think that this one will look good a little bit warmer. Slash is looking good, but the contrast, the clarity is a little too much. Now, I tend to kind of go overboard on clarity because sometimes it'll look good on one screen and then it won't look good on another screen, and I just did that. So it was like a little too gritty in the face and a little too gray. And when it gets really gray in people's like faces and hands and those shadows, I take that kind of as a you've used too much clarity. So that's my bad. I pulled that back. Still getting that like grittiness in his face on my other screen, but I think it's mostly because I'm using a JPEG. I kind of think that's how I would keep it. Let me see. This one I'm definitely gonna check the crop of because I really want him to be like centered in the image, like really, really centered. Okay, I think I'm gonna stop touching it and stop saying okay. That's what I did with that one. That was a quick and easy edit with the JPEG. I'm going through this so fast. I'm so proud of myself. I'm really not doing a lot of editing. I love how I'm like, I didn't want to do this because I think it'd take too long and I had technical difficulties. I tend to edit pretty quickly because I do batch edits, and most of the time when I send images to my publication, I send them 30, so I try and get those edited really fast. When I send images to clients, I normally send like 60 to 100. So when I am at home editing, I try not to spend too much time on each photo, because if you're editing like 100 photos, it takes a lot of time, and I try and keep my prices really low so I can work more with local bands because I know that they all need content. So I try and edit really fast and keep things like simple. For here, since everything's a little different, those two were like the most similar, that it was like a white light, that the skin tones were natural. That means that we're jumping into the harder ones. So I am going to jump over to this raw photo. Okay guys, so I feel like this video has been a failure from the start. I was done editing one photo and then realized that I haven't been recording this whole time. So my screen recording just decided to stop, and I edited a whole picture and talked about it for probably 5 minutes, and there's no way I'm going to be able to re-edit that and explain everything all the way through. So I just want to show you guys my edit. I actually turned this image black and white, and I was really happy with the black and white version. I had a color version, I'll insert it here. I think that it's really pretty. I like it. By the way, I cropped this image a little bit from the original. It looks good. I just wasn't overly happy with the coloring, so I turned it black and white. But we're just gonna keep moving along because this video is gonna be incredibly long and tedious if I don't just keep going. And it's also like the sun has set, so my lighting went away. Like, it's just a deal, guys. And then I figured out that I can use my other screen, so I moved back to my other screen. I'm sorry guys, I'm really trying this week. It's been a weird one. I'm sure a lot of you guys are on the same page. It's just a very strange time right now. Okay, so this is the next image that I am working on, and I love this one, but I'm gonna bring up the exposure. This is with the same edits and stuff that I was using previously. So I want to keep his skin like a little bit yellow, and I'm looking right here because that would be his like natural skin tone, so I'm gonna keep that a little bit yellow. And then I'm gonna go down and change the hue, and then go back up to the top and add a little bit more pink since we changed all those tones. You can still tell that there's different colored lights on him, but I like how this part of his face is a little bit more orangey pink, and then you still have like the green color pulling from the background. So I actually really like that. Since there's no fog or anything in this photo, I'm gonna turn down the dehaze and then focus more on the clarity and the contrast. And then just another quick change of, let's make the greens a little more green. Can we remove some more orange? Okay, and then a quick check side by side. I think that looks pretty sick. I'm pretty happy with that. I completely color corrected his face. You can still tell that there's lights on him, but it looks pretty good. Yeah, I'm happy with this one. I'm gonna leave it like that. Next. By the way, this image was from Nicole, and this one that we're working on next is also from her. I tend to underexpose my images because I can get back a lot from pure darkness, but when it comes to having like pure whites or blown out whites, you can't get any of that information back. That's just completely lost. So I tend to underexpose, and it looks like Nicole does the same, or maybe she's just shooting in like really like dark, low lit clubs. This was shot at ISO 3200, so this is normally like what I would see my settings at. I shoot a little bit slower on a shutter speed. I normally sit around like 1/250. But if this band was moving around really fast, it makes total sense that she'd want to shoot at 1/400. And kind of similar settings on this one too. It's a f2 1/400 and then an ISO of 2500. So This is normally kind of like the same settings that I shoot my clubs at and my venues, so I think that's probably why I'm comfortable editing these. Just a similar style and a similar kind of vibe to what I shoot and how I shoot. Okay. So this one, I definitely want to bring up that contrast because of this like light beam that's coming through. When you have the picture as is, you don't really see it. The light source must be somewhere over here. But I love this. So let's kick up the exposure. I'll leave the highlights. I'm gonna remove these lowered highlights and whites just so I can get more of that in this picture. And then let's go with my little dropper tool. Oh, I don't like that. Okay, so I want to zoom in on his face so I can kind of see the coloration that I'm getting and what I want to remove. So I know that I kind of just want to go straight to saturation and remove some of this. Is this what this is? That is not what that color is. Red? It's not red. What the fuck is that? Okay, it's magenta. Okay, so I'm gonna go in with this dropper. Still not catching it. What the fuck was that? Okay. This is a weird night to do this. I'm sorry, guys. Dude, grab the dropper. Okay. Okay. This is not working for me, so screw that dropper. We're gonna go in. You know what? This might be another black and white image. Okay, so normally I wouldn't have 2 black and white images out of 7, but I'm gonna do it. I think that this image looks so much better as a black and white shot than whatever I was trying to do with the coloring, and since his face was like weirdly partially in shadows and like partially colored, like you're gonna get some like weird lines on it, and I could spend a lot of time kind of digging into it, but it's just not vibing with me right now. So I like it as black and white. I think that the contrast in it like makes it really like stand out. I love these like, these must be like little dust particles floating around, but I love that. So I also said in the clip that I just messed up on, I'm not over it, guys. I'm gonna complain about this for the rest of the night. In Lightroom, you have these 2 options on the right hand side. You have this color, you have this black and white. Whenever I go to black and white, this looks like grittier. If you notice the difference on his face, it didn't do too much. But I definitely like the color version with just like no saturation better than the black and white version. Now let me show it to you on this image. If I'm on the color side of the tab and then I do saturation -100 versus the black and white, it's a totally different image. I don't understand. So if anyone wants to explain this to me, I'm all ears. I would love to hear it because I always sit in this color tab and then bring down the saturation. I don't know why, but that's how I edit my black and white photos. I think that this one looks stunning. I love the interaction of her in it. The black and white really isolates her and really like brings your eyes to kind of like her eyes and her smile. So I love this as a black and white. I think that this one as a black and white is really artsy. I think that you could probably easily sell this as a print and get a ton of people interested in it because it's just so beautiful and striking with that like beam of light right through it. So love this image. I'd leave it as black and white. Okay guys, we got 2 more shots to go. The last one is definitely going to be the hardest, and I may or may not also turn it into a black and white photo. We'll see how I'm feeling at the end of all of this. Oh yeah, so okay, this was one that I really wanted to edit. I feel like I'm gonna do some brush like retouching on some of this stuff over here on this corner. So I'm gonna go through kind of like the basic edits and then see if I want to touch up any of this or like how I want to address the crowd. Or maybe if like I would keep this image, because first pass when I looked at this image I was like, wow, I probably wouldn't keep that. But when you brighten it up, let me just pull this up all the way. Look at all of this detail. You can see all of these people. This is wild. Like if I was shooting for this person, they would definitely want a picture of this crowd. And you know, when it's really, really dark like this, this is what you're stuck with. This is the picture that you have. This is how dark it is. And you don't want to disappoint your client and give them nothing and miss out on this awesome image. So this is definitely something that I'd try and salvage. I'm not good at editing photos like this. I can tell you that right off the bat. But we're gonna try it. Dude, images like this suck for me to edit. I don't understand. Like, I think personally I like this look better, where you can just like see that the crowd goes on, but you're missing so many people when you do that. So normally I would like this color, but when it makes everyone else that color, it looks stupid. Also, these guys have red shirts on. They're just bright. What am I doing? I don't know what I'm doing. I'm doing this not good. This is not good. We're gonna come back to it. I'm gonna think about it. John, you gave me hard photo. I did shoot one show once that was completely red. Every single image looked like that. And I converted them all to black and white. And my publication was not happy with it. And I sent them a screenshot of what all the images looked like if I just removed my color correcting, which was just turning it to black and white. And after I showed them that, they completely understood, because literally every image was just flooded with red. There was no other color, no other lighting, so it was really, really hard to color correct. When you have like one red light on someone and then you have other lights on them, you can normally color correct, but when it's only red light, I have a hard time getting anything else from the image. And in that case, it was only red lights. That was like the vibe of that show. So it was nearly impossible for me to get anything other than red. Now the images looked good and I was really happy with them, so they did go live on a publication and we were all happy about that. But every single image was black and white because I couldn't color correct it. Now, this image is from someone named Lars, and I really love their framing on this. Normally, I just kind of bring up my cropping tool just to look at it, because ideally I would like this image to be kind of like cropped here, like a little bit less of his legs, but at the same time having him perfectly centered like this, and then having the base over here. I think that this looks great, so I'm gonna leave that cropping as is. Okay, so when I was playing around with this photo earlier, I had an issue with how this looks, and I'm wondering if this is a camera issue. Can you guys see this like banding down here? You see these like stripes that come through kind of this equal distance? I don't know what that is. Like, this doesn't look like a lighting thing to me. This looks like a camera sensor thing. So I'm not really sure what's going on, and I'm not sure I know how to correct for that. Okay, Lars, if you're watching this, let me know if you know what this is. Does this come up on your other photos? Because I'm kind of concerned about this. I don't know what it is. I was like, maybe there's like a beam here, maybe there's a shadow. Like, am I just missing something? I feel like with this photo, I would just be kind of artsy with it. Like, whatever you're kind of thinking for this shot, especially since he's looking away from you. The like skin color correcting doesn't really matter to me that much because I normally like to really only color correct the face. I'm not too concerned about like arms and torso and stuff like that. But I think that this image works really well if you want to like highlight the vibe, I guess, of the band as well as like the instrument. So I can see this kind of working well, just staying red. I'm not really happy with any of the other coloring. And also because like if you just play around with white balance, like you should see a lot of other colors kind of like come out. This makes me think that they also only had red light. So you're not seeing any sort of color change when you like toggle over here. It's still staying that red color. And like even bringing it from pink to green, you should see a lot more going on. But there's really not a lot. So I'm thinking that they also only had red lights. So in this case, I would leave this red. And I think that it works fine actually as a red picture. And then you can kind of just have it as like a mood image. No, that sounds really ridiculous, but I'm gonna remove this yellow though because I think that's really distracting. Okay, not the greatest edit. I did not do a good job on this image, but that's kind of how I would edit that one. Just a little bit more striking, making the blacks blacker. A little bit more exaggerated so you can like see his hair in more detail, and then just removing that yellow orange light because I thought that was kind of distracting. So that's how I would edit this one. Not a good edit for me. Not a good edit for me to end on. And now I gotta go back to this one. Oh man, this is still getting me that they all in the center and the same coloring. I don't like that. Don't like it. Man, this is a hard one. You guys really tried me. Okay, I am not happy with this at all, but I think that's where we're gonna leave it because I'm gonna go insane. I wish I was good at editing, that I could touch up something like this, but I'm not. And I asked you guys to send me your hard ones, and you definitely delivered. Okay, so let's end this video before I go insane. Starting with this one, this was a red shot that was definitely a challenge, and I would leave it as red if you don't want to turn it to black and white. Since we turned so many to black and white, we're not doing it, we're leaving it red. And and I think it looks good as an artsy shot. And then for this one, so difficult, especially with all the different colors that it pulls and all the grain that's going on because it was so dark. I think that this is awesome. I'm just not the best at editing to pull something like this. So this one was definitely hard for me, and my edit sucks, but here you go. This one was one of my favorites, I think, just because of how artsy it looks. I'm gonna say artsy so many times, with this light going across it. So I love this. I think it works really well as black and white. This was a quick edit where we color corrected his skin, and I think that this one looks super, super good, so I love this. This one is another great black and white shot, flooded with blue originally, but I think that this looks good either as this black and white or the color version that I did. I think both look great. I just think that you're really drawn to her when it's black and white. This was probably the cleanest of all of the photos straight out of the camera. It looks beautiful, so I just brightened it up and sharpened it a little bit to make it pop a little bit more, but I left the colors pretty much as is because just killer shot. And then this one also amazing, amazing shot. So I just did the same thing, brightening it up, making those colors pop, and adding a little bit more of the yellows to his skin tone. So. That was fun and also a struggle. Thank you guys if you made it this far. Thank you for watching all the way through this struggle bus with me. So I appreciate it. I might open up another one of these where I edit your photos, and because I enjoy doing it now that I know how to screen record and get the files downloaded properly. It's been a process, guys. I don't know why this video was such a struggle for me, but I really hope that you enjoyed it. I put out new videos every Thursday about concert photography and kind of general photography stuff, so please come back to see more of those, and I will see you guys in the next one. I hope you are staying safe and healthy and not going crazy during this social distancing, self-quarantining time. I'm always here to chat, so feel free to message me and comment below if you guys liked the video, if you didn't like the video, if you think that you're a better editor than me, let me know, because I'm definitely not the best, but I had fun doing this. So everyone who sent photos my way, thank you so, so much. All of their links and stuff will be in the description below, so definitely check out their work. And yeah, that's it. So thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you guys in the next one. Thanks!